Today's real estate market has home buyers stressed over rising interest rates and still having to battle with multiple offer situations on the homes they want. Today, I'm very excited to have Michael Gambatese of Proper Rate with us to discuss options that home buyers can have with Proper Rate that'll kind of give them the edge on their multiple offer situations and relieve some of their stress. So looking forward to that, and stick around for that great information. Hey, well, good afternoon there, Mike. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Slav?
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us. I'm really looking forward to the information that you're going to provide us. This market has been ever changing. Last year, I know many of us didn't expect multiple offer situations to continue. We expected the inventory to increase, which has not. So it's been kind of like a double-edged sword for me, catch-22. I feel happy for my sellers because, they have the leverage right now. And I feel bad for my buyers because they have to move quickly. They're facing higher interest rates, and they're still dealing with the multiple offer situation. Now, first, I'd like to talk to you and get your kind of insight in what you're hearing about the interest rates right now.
Yeah. First and foremost, thanks for having me, Slav. It's always good to talk to you. Right now, when you talk about relieving stress, that's really our main job, right? Is to make sure that we're, educating our buyers about what's happening in the market. And we are obviously in a rising interest rate market, as we have been now for, close to 12 months. So the general consensus is that as the Fed continues to give us word that they're going to continue to raise interest rates, that interest rates may or may not, long-term rates at least, may or may not at least hold strong or potentially dip a little bit towards the end of the year. The National Association of Realtors, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, National Association of Mortgage Bankers, they all kind of feel like we've hit the peak regarding interest rates. Now, obviously, nobody has a crystal ball, but that's at least the words that we're hanging on. And so we're just trying to do what we can and coming up with solutions for our buyers to alleviate some of the stress that they're having regarding interest rates. And we could talk a little bit about that if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we had a discussion before about some of the tools that Proper Rate's offering to relieve some of the stress of the rising interest rates. Because I know with the buyers that I'm working with, they feel like they're working against the clock. Interest rates are rising. There has been word in the last several months that they're going to come down. They haven't. So they feel like they're pressured to find something before interest rates go up even higher and maybe price them out of a certain type of house they want. So what does you and Proper Rate have to offer?
Well, so I see my job as not only to provide my clients with the lowest possible rate at the lowest possible cost and to provide excellent service, but we are trying to figure out ways to give buyers a leg up on the competition. Okay. So what we're doing is we have our lock and roll program, which I'm encouraging all of my clients, all of my buyers who are in the market to buy and truly think that they're going to be closing on a home in the next 90 days. It allows them the ability to lock in today's market rate at no additional cost for up to 90 days without a property address. Okay. And what that does is it allows them to be able to shop and not have to worry about what's happening with interest rates. Okay. And it also allows them the ability to be able to float down should rates drop during that time as well. So there's no fear of missing out on the lower rate. So it gives people the peace of mind of knowing, listen, my rate is locked. That's one less thing I have to worry about. It's hard enough to find a home right now. It's just one less worry on their plate.
Yeah, fantastic. First of all, I love the name of that, lock and roll. I think that's clever. That's awesome. So let me get it straight. So there's no cost to the buyers at all on this. They don't have to pay any points to lock it in. And what happens after the 90 days and perhaps they don't find the house they want?
Yeah, good questions. So no cost to do it. It's literally just clicking a button on my side and locking it in we could do it for 30, 60, or 90 days. And in that 90-day period, if they don't find something and close, then the rate just goes away. They've lost nothing. Okay. So then what we'll do then at that 90-day mark is reevaluate, see what their goals are. If they still want to buy something in that next 90-day period, we'll just do it all over again.
Fantastic. So one more question on that. So let's just say they participate in that program, lock in, let's just say 7%. And while they're searching for the home, the interest rate maybe drops down to 6.5. What happens in that case?
Yeah, that would be a good problem to have, right? So basically what I would tell my client is, listen, you're eligible for a float down at any point. So once a loan is locked in my system, I will get automatically notified if they're eligible for a float down. So in that scenario, interest rates typically move in 1/8 of a point increments. If interest rates move down to 6.875%, I'll automatically get notified, reach out to our client and say, listen, rates did go down. So would you like to take advantage of this one-time free float down? We actually did one with a client last week because interest rates did tick down a little bit, and they were locked on the lock and roll program. And they were locked when rates were above 7, and now they're actually below 7. Mm-hmm. So it's a win-win for everybody because I then get to provide that extra value to my client that they're trusting me and locking in the rate. But also, if rates go down, they could take advantage of that lower rate.
Wow. Yeah. And I could see that really relieving stress from home buyers. Number one, they don't have to worry about interest rates rising. And if they do come down, they're covered there as well. And they could just focus on finding the house that they really, truly now want rather than to forcing them into a decision that they might regret later on.
Right. And I'm seeing that a lot of buyers right now are just worried about their payment. And so we talk a lot about the payment. Okay. With interest rates rising, it's easier to focus less on the interest rate and more on the payment. Does the payment make sense for you? With interest rates up as they are, the payment still might work for you, right? So let's not focus as much about the 30-year fix being at 7%. Let's focus on that $3,000 a month housing payment. And does that still fit within your budget? So we're talking with our clients a lot about the payment and making sure that that still fits within their overall financial picture.
Yeah, great advice there. So I want to switch over to the topic of multiple offer situations. And, as when I'm representing a seller and we receive anywhere from 3 to 10 offers, I am on the phone with every single one of the lenders of the offer that we're considering, just to see where they are in the approval process and so forth. What does Proper Rate have to offer to maybe increase the leverage your buyers, your clients would have in a multiple offer situation?
Right. And I pride myself a little bit on helping buyers win the house, right? So what we're doing on every single transaction right now, when I'm talking to buyers, even from the first phone call, is listen, let's do our due diligence and do as much of the work as we can upfront, because what we do is we'll actually not only lock in the rate like we just talked about without a property address, but we will do a full underwrite on the loan, meaning it's not just an automated underwrite, it's an actual underwriter in-house reviewing pay stubs, W-2s, bank statements, their entire financial picture. And I'll have the loan actually approved with a legit loan approval in hand. And all it will be subject to contract, appraisal, and title. Okay. So what that's allowing your buyers to do is go out and not only shop, but shop with a little bit more confidence and say, listen, my lender has my loan 100% approved, subject to those 3 things. I can close in 2 weeks. So we're utilizing that now and having my buyers actually have a leg up on the competition. And they're going in and saying, listen, I do have a mortgage, but it's already approved and I can close quickly. So we're not going to have to worry about, any issues with the mortgage. And then the letter that I actually provide to you and the buyer when they go and make the offer is an actual loan approval letter. It's not just a pre-approval letter. And it states clearly on that letter that all of these have been verified and that it's actually underwriting approved. So that's been great because when I'm talking with the listing agent in that situation, I'm saying, listen, this buyer is not only extremely qualified, but their mortgage is ready to go. And all we need to do is order the appraisal. And, sometimes in some cases, we're actually even able to get an appraisal waiver. So that alleviates some time there, alleviates costs for the buyer. So if I can actually get rid of the appraisal and I can have a loan underwritten, we can close in 2 weeks, no problem.
Yeah, wonderful. And the reason why that is so important is when I represent sellers, there's been so many times where we accept an offer and then the closing gets delayed because they're waiting on certain documents that haven't been taken care of right up front, like you're doing. And so very important for buyers that it's not always the highest price that wins the home. It's a combination of price, terms, and knowing that it's the least risky out of all the other offers as far as getting to the closing table.
Yeah. And right now, because the sellers have the upper hand, there's no reason for them not to take the absolute best offer, right?
Yeah,
and that best offer means a lot of things, but we try to just present our clients in the best possible light and put their best foot forward. So we try to have them as motivated as possible up front to provide us with all that documentation so that we'll win the deal.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it seems like you and Proper Rate are doing all the right things to help us as realtors to really give our clients the upper edge in the home buying process and relieve some of that stress. So we truly do appreciate that.
Wonderful.
So a quick question: what is your expectation based on what you're hearing on where the interest rates are going to be going throughout this year, maybe into the beginning of next year?
So right now, we're hovering right around, I would say 6.75% on a 30-year fixed. And that's actually down a little bit. And so I would like to think that we're going to stay in between 6.5% and 7% by year's end, just simply because that's going to keep the real estate market thriving. The Fed has announced that they may raise rates again, 25 to 50 basis points, but hopefully that won't have a long-term effect on long-term rates. So that's the general consensus right now is we're just, using all the tools that we just discussed to really avoid those things from being an issue. So if your rate is locked in for 90 days, it doesn't matter where interest rates go because you're insulated from those rate increases. So I would say that if I had to make a prediction, I would say we probably stay in that 6.875, 6.99 range.
Fantastic. And that's not a bad place to be, historically speaking, right?
No.
Yeah. So thanks, Mike. I really do appreciate your time today and providing your expertise. How can people get a hold of you?
So cell phone is probably the best way to reach me. That's 773-220-8859. And then email address is just my first initial last name at properrate.com. So it's MGAMBATESE at proper, PROPER rate, RATE.com.
Fantastic. Yep. So if you're looking to buy a home now or in the near future, give Mike a call. He'll definitely take care of you and give you the upper edge on the home that you decide that you want. So Mike, thanks again for joining me. I look forward to maybe for future conversations with you about the real estate market.
Anytime.
And this is Sloflinski Homes. Hey, have a fantastic day.